John, thank you very, very much for joining us here on the program.
It's a pleasure indeed, Leanne.
Now, let's talk about the curriculum as it stands right now. Do you think it doesn't address exactly what I spoke about in the introduction adequately enough?
Well, it doesn't. I personally have looked into the curriculum and I realized the goals that are stated in the curriculum really are so abstract, they're so ambiguous that we will not be able to build a nation that is conscious of wars and conflicts and begin to want to avoid those particular things so that we build a peaceful nation.
Yeah. You know, there's some criticism from, I think particularly from our DA, that is saying that this initiative will endorse ideological brainwashing. What do you think about that? I mean, is that a fair comment or not?
Well, it is not a fair comment on the basis that history is part of what we're supposed to be building the present upon. Because if we do not understand the link between the past events and the present events, we will not be able to predict, we will not have a historical predicting how our future has to be. We need to build a revolutionary consciousness around our people to understand clearly where we come from and how we were able to resolve our conflicts, what methods and what stages have we been able to defeat in the struggle of our country.
Yeah. All right, let's get your opinions in terms of how the history discourse will be depicted and displayed to basically show it in a balanced and fair way.
We believe that history has got to be balanced. There are certain things that you cannot do away with them in terms of what has happened pre-colonial and post-colonial, pre-apartheid and post-apartheid. So those particular events are very important for our children. It's very important for the future generation to then, so that we don't repeat the past mistakes that have happened. It's important because history link with culture, because the culture then will then allow us to say what methods, what strategies, what tactics have been used to ensure that those particular conflicts around land dispossession, degradation of our people, how have they been resolved, and how and what has to be put in place now to ensure that we address those particular issues. So now, if you do not want the children to know about that, it's because you want to hide certain things so that we do not have a peaceful coexistence in our country.
Yeah. In terms of assistance, I mean, something like this is a massive thing to embark on. Have you approached government? What are government's views? Are they happy to go ahead with something like this?
Well, I must indicate, Leanne, that we had resolved in 2012 around this particular resolution, and we have been able to hand over our resolution as normal to our government, in particular the Department of Education. We have not had, as you would be aware, that 2009 to 2013 has been a huge struggle between us and the Department of Education. We're hoping that with the new administration under the Minister, Motshekga, will then be able to have some kind of civil discussion that will then be able to address some of these particular issues.
Do you have an aim as to when you would like to actually see this implemented?
Look, we believe that first it's important that we recalculate the historical curriculum that we have in the country. It may take a bit of a time. However, we think that we can begin to pilot some of these particular issues as we move forward. We don't have enough time on our hands, given the fact that we have seen racism rearing its head, and we believe that we have not done enough as a country to ensure that we build a common nation, to build a common vision, common identity of our people. So we think the more we delay, we are going to see more problems in our country that really we should have avoided. We think we have a responsibility as SADTU to raise this particular debate so that we are able to call upon all our people in our country really to talk about this particular issue. So if we can be able to implement in 2015, we'll be happy as an organization.
All right, there you go. John Maluleke, the General Secretary of SADTU, talking to us. Thank you very much from our Cape Town studios. Do you agree? Do you think that particularly our history syllabus here in South Africa needs a bit of a revamp, that it brings in a lot more of the struggle heroes and heroines that helped shape us from where we are, and also just to try and undo the wrongs of the past with teaching students the right way? Do you think this is the way to go? Do you do history? I'm sure you work with your children and you see the syllabus. Write to us, and if you're studying history, write to us as well. Let us know, do you think we need a more modern version of our history?